Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Monday stream. I have my mic where it should be. I didn't start the stream just yelling into my room before I remembered that I had to bring the mic close to my face so that you could actually hear me. Uh, Hello. Welcome to the Monday stream. Um, Hello, Hunter. Oh, okay. Goodbye. Yeah, Mondays you got a D&D game, don't you? Um, do I need to turn my light on? Not really, but I'll keep it up anyways. Oh my fucking god. What a disaster. What a disaster my fucking hair is. Jesus. Sometimes when I'm not actually leaving, I'm just being a smartass. Oh, whoa. Oh my god, this is not. This isn't. Okay. Right? Like if it's not doing what you want it to do, just let it be. Hello, Nova. Mama will be home soon, then she'll let you out. Hi. Hello. Uh, Neat. Um, yeah. I had no fucking clue what I was gonna do today. Um, and I was walking the dog uh earlier today, and I let's at least attempt to get this under control. There we go. I mean, okay. Uh, yeah, I was like, you know what? I've literally never done like one of those ranking things. Um, and obviously, I still have. Uh, I don't know what the fuck you said, because like as far as I know, I don't have a profanity filter on, so I don't know if you just typed three asterisks or you said something so obscene that even my obscenity filter was like my the obscenity filter that is turned off was like no. No, it's a link. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I disabled links in chat. Same reason why I've got follower only chat, just to cut down on the spam. You can DM it to me if it's important. So you don't allow links apparently. No, I do not. Um, it's a clip. Neat. If it's, I mean, either way, just DM it to me. I'll if it's relevant to stream, I'll do it on stream. Is it a clip of me? Is it a okay, it am I going to get banned if I show it on stream? Like if I bring it up and I play it on stream, am I going to get banned? I'll ask you that. No, you won't. Okay, I'm gonna trust you. I'm also turning my settings back to my computer instead of my television. And boys, we gotta get the cans on. Come on. Fuck yeah. All right. Where did you send it to me? Facebook Messenger. Okay. I'll check it out. For you, buddy. Let's see. Who the fuck? Okay, real quick question: did you clip this? Because the URL is fucking all over the place. Um. Okay. I'm gonna open it in a new tab so that you're not seeing my whole Facebook business. And we'll go to here. Okay, that works out relatively okay. Yes, I did, but I don't make the URLs Twitch. Did you look at it? Because it's like twitch.tv/tenacious boring Andacana smoochers. Hence why I made sure. Oh my god, that is not the look for me. Better. All right. All right. Let's see what the fuck this is. Not really about to keep it. Oh my fucking god! What a disaster! Oh shit. That's so fucking funny. I'm glad it turned out that way. Just watching Nova made me laugh. Also, I heard no sound from it. Great. Oh, that's probably because... So the scene that I have for my browser... No, it says audio output capture. I don't know why you didn't. I heard it. It's just your settings. Is it? Yeah, hold on. Let me capture, check your settings. Let me try something real quick. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's gonna... Hold on. Let me switch accounts to the thing that actually has all of my shit. So are you not hearing anything? I am seeing, like, it's the audio is being captured and output. That's really weird because, like, it's showing me. Okay, okay, it's quiet. Okay, well that's... I can fix that.
Good morning, Judge Banks. I hope you don't mind the imposition. I thought you could review your notes on the way to court.
Edward,
Is that any better?
What am I gonna do? How am I gonna make it through the day without an assistant?
Better could still be louder. Okay.
Come on, like my phone.
Let me check its actual settings then. Audio output. I mean, it's up to like almost full. Let me try this.
Father used to say to me, it's get out of those clothes
How's that?
and get in the damn car.
Jamal?
Okay. For some reason, so it was on the default setting. I just changed it to basically my Scarlett, like what outputs to my headphones. So okay, all right. Guess that seemed to work. Perf isn't perforated. Oh, I can audio be. I'm not getting into this with you. Okay. Well, it works. All right, that's good to know. Um, yeah, how about the okay. I've never done any of those like tier ranking things before. Um, and I've been watching another Twitch streamer slash YouTuber going through and playing Kingdom Hearts for the first time. Plus, April was the kind of like anniversary month for it. So just been in a Kingdom Hearts mood. So I was like, you know what? I have zero ideas for tonight, and I don't just want to play another video game. So let's rank Kingdom Hearts stuff. And again, at first it was just like one thing, and then it was two things, and I think I've got like four things lined up just because like I don't know how long they're gonna take. And this is basically gonna be the night. So um, yeah, the Packers are doing pretty good in the off season. I don't. What is this? What is this? This is weird. Ugh, I don't feel any different. It's got a weird neck pattern. What the fuck is that? I also realized the other day when I was like looking at, I was watching one of the VODs that got uploaded to the YouTube channel just to make sure everything went correctly. Um, you're pretty good in the on season. Um, yeah, I was looking at the VOD and like I like a lot of creators. I hate watching my own content. It fucking sucks. Like I'll shoot it, I'll edit it, I'll upload it, like I'll make sure everything's good, but I won't just like sit back and watch it. It takes a long time before I do it. And even then like only like certain content. Uh don't look at me in that tone of voice. It's my fucking stream. I'll do what I want. Um but anyways, I was watching it and even kind of now like as I'm looking at the screen like it is really unfortunate how uh just how my facial hair grows and just how it looks and like because it looks like I shave here and like intentionally keep like a fucking neck beard and that is not the case. um uh Gumber Pile, welcome. Thank you. Yes, this week is actually this week's been, I mean it's Monday, but it's been okay so far. I think I'm kind of like I my mental health wasn't great for like the last week or two, but I think I'm kind of finally getting out of that funk and kind of on the rise again. So um yeah. I feel really bad, but I don't recognize your name. How long has it been since you followed me? Don't even see you. That's good for me. Well, welcome anyways. Nice to have you. Um, yeah, we're ranking Kingdom Hearts stuff today. Um, really? Because I didn't get a. Yeah, you following me isn't in my feed, and then like obviously it didn't come up on stream. That's really weird. Okay. Um. Yeah, we're ranking Kingdom Hearts shit today because I didn't have any other ideas, and I didn't want to just like play a video game again on stream. Well, I'm setting up for my own thing, dude. Have a great rest of your stream. Fucking, why the hell were you here? Thank you. Thanks for coming on, buddy. It means a lot. Have fun in your own thing. What are you doing tonight? As I pretend to care. That's my dog, Nova. Know what you mean about the mental health stuff, dude. Been through the exact same stuff for 14 years. Always happy to lend an ear if needed. Well, thanks a lot, man. It seriously means a lot. I mean, yeah, same. Like I also started developing it, around the time of puberty. like junior high, high school, and I'm 30, going to be 31 this year. So yeah, about the same. 14, 15 years, a little more. Um, but yeah, it's. I mean, yesterday was still a little down. But feeling good today. In good spirits. Happy to be on stream. I was actually I went live a little earlier. I usually go live like right at 6, but I was just kind of like sitting here, like waiting for 6 to come around, and the time was just ticking by. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just going live. Whatever." Depression was my 21st birthday present. I'm 34 now, so yeah, just shy of 14 years. Gotcha. Uh, yeah, it's not fun. It also sucks that like the one thing that seems to be like almost a legitimate like cure um just isn't legal. So that's great. I don't know if you like do any research or see anything about it, but about as fun as trapping a testicle in your zipper. I have always been so goddamn terrified of doing that. Um, no, but they've shown that like microdosing, I forget the name of it, but it's basically the active ingredient in like magic mushrooms and things like that. Almost like, again, I hesitate to use a word like this, but like cures like depression. Um, so that would be great. Um, it hurts. I would imagine so. I wouldn't think it would be a well, I was gonna say I wouldn't think it to be a pleasurable experience, but I I mean maybe some people are into that shit. I don't know. Hey, if it is, cool, go ahead. I don't judge. I fucking I don't know what it was on. I was just browsing through Reddit. I wasn't looking for it, and as I was scrolling, I just saw a gif of a dude's balls hanging down, like just the balls, like he was on a table and there was a hole, and his balls were hanging there, and then there was a lady with boxing gloves, and I think you can imagine where the rest of that goes. And I was at work, so like I couldn't like make any noise, but I was like, "Ugh." It wasn't. It was a bad couple moments. That was definitely Google search. It just came up on Reddit. I fucking promise. I would, if I was looking for that shit, I would admit it. Like I'm not gonna like hide any of that. Um, like I said, I was just scrolling through Reddit. It may have been you know, a naughty subreddit. I'll say that. Like, who the fuck doesn't browse Reddit for some of the porn? But was it specifically to look for a woman boxing a man's testicles? No, no, it wasn't. Um, so that's that. Um, well, you know what? That's about all I had to talk about. So you know what? Let's. Oh, you know what? There's one more thing I'm gonna do. We're gonna get into the Kingdom Hearts ranking stuff. I need to get some. Okay, I was going to get some background music going. So that yet again, I'm not just like fucking sitting here in silence. Besides me talking, but even when I search for copyright-free stuff that I can use on stream, my videos will still get flagged for like using like copyrighted music. So I'm a little like, not that I'm making money off them to begin with, so it's really not that big of a deal. But so I'm just fucking scared to do it. But yeah, I don't know. Hold on. I'll find something. I'll find a little something for us. Okay, so like I'm going to specifically search copyright free music for stream. Okay? I am specifically looking for that. Copyright free music live stream at no copyright sounds. Japanese. Ooh, we're doing Kingdom Hearts. Japanese lo-fi radio 24/7. Aesthetic lo-fi hip-hop music. No copyright. Okay. I'm going to try it. And I suppose we'll see. Goomber, if you're still here, can you let me know? Well, how's about we actually get to the... Nope, that ain't it. That's it. If you can hear it, is the volume okay? And can you hear me over it well enough? Neat. Okay, you are still here. So does it sound okay? Is it too loud? Or too quiet? If it's too quiet, there's nothing I can do about it. It's actually, I think it's up as loud as it can be. Yeah, they are both fine for now, I'd say personally. Cool. Why? Oh, this doesn't have the chat box. Hold on, give me a second. This scene doesn't have something it needs. Chat to box! I was wondering why I couldn't see it come up. Let's move the chat box over here. Okay. Alright, well, little intro in case I make a highlight video out of this eventually and stop being lazy about it and actually do it. Alright, well, let's get into the content now with some Kingdom Hearts tier list things, shall we? And of course, we're starting with the games themselves. I think this might be this one right here. I cannot believe they put it on here, although it is a game, so they did include it. I think this is the one for Kingdom Hearts V-Cast. Technically speaking, the only Kingdom Hearts game I never played. It also has literally nothing to do with the story, which, again, I believe is the only instance where that happened. So, I'm just tossing it in the don't care. That's where that's at. Okay, I think I'm gonna try my best to go in chronological order of release. So that's gonna be Kingdom Hearts, then Chain of Memories, then 2, Honest Moment. I've never played Kingdom Hearts. I'm lost already. It's completely fine. So here's the thing. Kingdom Hearts is my personal favorite series of games. However, I am not so like diehard of a fan to where I can completely understand why it isn't for everybody, okay? I am not like, you don't like Kingdom Hearts, really? Like, no, I get it. If you're not a Disney fan, or you're not a Final Fantasy / JRPG fan, if you're not either of those things, then you likely would have never played a Kingdom Hearts game. If you're either of those, you may have played them. Still kind of iffy if you liked them. I understand Kingdom Hearts is a super niche thing, and to say you're a fan of it is a kind of a one in like 1,000. Like, I get it. So, no problem. Thankfully, so if you know nothing about Kingdom Hearts whatsoever, like you don't even know the concept. So I kind of basically already spelled it out, but it's essentially Disney meets Final Fantasy. It has its own original characters, and much of the original content for it has expanded greatly in that time. Actually, in the base game of Kingdom Hearts 3, there aren't even Final Fantasy characters. They kind of left them all out, to the chagrin of many people. So they got added in some DLC that came later. It is confusing. It is convoluted. It is at times terribly written. Sometimes when they intend to be funny, it's not funny, except it comes back around to being funny because of how not funny it is. It's a weird fucking series. We're gonna get to some more specific stuff that I'll kind of go over later, but like for the moment, these are just the games, and some of these are collections, so it's kind of but the only thing you'll need to know is in Kingdom Hearts, there are no side games. Every single game, no matter what platform it was released on, or anything, how insignificant it may seem, has something vital to the narrative as a whole. And boy, do some things get weird. I enjoy Final Fantasy. I've seen Kingdom Hearts gameplay, but never loaded the game up. Now is a good time to get into it, and I'll tell you why. It's mostly the accessibility of it now, since you can get on almost every platform, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. You can get the all-in-one collection, which, as far as I know, is pretty much literally everything, except maybe one or two things that came out after that collection came out. I'm not sure. I would have to look up what's in it. Again, I personally, I love it. So yeah, but yeah, like, no game is unimportant. The people who didn't understand that and complained that, like, oh, there were so many side games between 2 and 3. Nothing, and again, when it first started, of course, we wouldn't know this, but in Kingdom Hearts, there is not an unimportant game. There's not like a skippable one. They're not all fun, and a lot of them are vastly different in their style of gameplay. But if it's something you eventually do get into, if you do try and do you like it, but you hit that game that's like, you know what, I want to know the story, but I hate this fucking game, you can watch cutscenes. Like, they're all out there. So yeah, quick explanation / crash course in Kingdom Hearts. I need to turn this down just a little bit. I can't hear myself think. Okay. Alright, so that's VCast out of the way. Oh yeah, I was kind of putting these in order. So Kingdom Hearts, Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, and then 358, Birth by Sleep. Come on. Then Conan, I think. Then Dream Drop Distance. I'll put Union Cross here. I also can't see some of these, so that doesn't help. And then 3, and then I'll kind of keep all this other stuff at the end. I think it's probably more aimed towards my partner, as she is Disney obsessed. But I'd at least give it a go. Yeah, no harm in trying. It was the same way for me. Like, if you go back and look at like the first like English commercials for Kingdom Hearts, like I grew up on Disney. My parents were big into it. We went every single year until I was like 12. So Disney, we were big Disney fans. Disney means a lot to me. And same with my partner too. And we're also both into, we're huge fucking weeaboos. So when I saw a series that combined both of those, I was like, yes, fucking absolutely. Okay, I think generally speaking that's about the order. So the first Kingdom Hearts. Obviously, a lot has been improved on everything since the first release. But I think I'm gonna put it at a pretty solid A. It's one of the ones I will always go back to. I'll always do another replay of the original Kingdom Hearts. Compared to the later games, it feels very... So comparatively, it can feel pretty clunky and awkward at times. But, it was the first one. They were still figuring things out. So understanding all that, understanding it's a game from 2002, putting everything into perspective and everything. Could it have made improvements? Of course. It kind of did in some areas, because... So here's the other thing. They're not listed here, which I'm fine with. Kinda. I kind of wish some of them were on here. So most of the mainline games got a... besides 3, because it just wasn't necessary to do this by the time the game came out. So the early Kingdom Hearts games, like the first one and 2, would get different updated versions of the games released called Final Mixes. So like Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Because this was PS2 era. If you wanted to update a game, the only way to do that was to like release a new game. Now it's just DLC, but that wasn't a thing back then. So like Kingdom Hearts Final Mix had changes, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix had a ton of changes to Kingdom Hearts 2. So I think we'll just kind of rate these as their base games, because the final mixes are included in some of these other ones that are on here. So I'll kind of give them the edge there when I'll keep that in mind when we get to those ones. But the original Kingdom Hearts, when it came out, absolutely fell in love with it right away. Solid A. Chain of Memories, for me, would be D, almost F, but I'm gonna put it low C, only because of the story. I love the story in Chain of Memories. It has 2 different sides, actually. You play through one character's story, and then once you complete it, you go through and play another character's story, and then they both, kind of tie together at the end. So I loved the story. I loved all the characters that were introduced, but I hated the gameplay, and I hated the world progression in it. Because it was just a complete rehash of the original Kingdom Hearts in terms of like the different like Disney properties and worlds that you go to. And then the combat system became this like card-based game where like in a hack and slash JRPG, every single swing of your weapon was a card that had to come out of your deck that you had to play from your deck, and then when you were out, you had to spend the time to reload the whole thing. But it also wasn't turn-based. You were still running around and having to do like normal shit, but everything you did was based on like these deck of cards, and I hated the concept that you couldn't just use your weapon, and then like special abilities, spells, things like that were cards, which is actually how later games worked, and I absolutely loved them. But with the way that Chain of Memories worked, like no, it is, like I said, it's like low tier for me, but I like the story enough to put it in low C. Gods.
Hi, honey.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, Chad.
Did you want to join me for this, by the way?
I'm good. I'm cooking food.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know if you wanted to sit in
What's your
with me.
tier list so far? Let me
Like I said, I literally just got started. VCast and don't care because it's literally the only Kingdom Hearts game that doesn't matter on anything, and I never played it, so fucking whatever. So, I don't even know if you knew this. Kingdom Hearts had a game that came out for the VCast, a phone before smartphones. Like it's a dumpster fire.
I would imagine so.
And again, like it was the one that like literally didn't have to do with anything. So, bum. Starting to remember, just letting you know it's. Oh, jeez. Do this if I get in a cuffing position. Yeah, no, you're doing good. Yeah, it's just somebody. Weird. They said that they just found me today and they followed, but like I don't have them like in my follow thing, and it didn't come up on stream either.
That's weird. They may want to. Hi, you may want to check your settings on that and make sure. I know sometimes it can glitch, so the follow won't go through.
Yeah, I'll have to check on it. I'm not gonna worry about it now.
Beautiful faces.
Yeah.
No, but get out of there.
But I mean, like clearly they are a follower because like my chat is follower only, so they wouldn't be able to unless they did.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, maybe check it. It might take it a minute because you know our internet's a little fussy.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Hot Mess Express. All aboard.
Get the fuck out of here.
Nah.
It's all good. Twitch doesn't like me half the time. Yeah.
Also, it's
Same.
80 degrees in here. I'm turning on the AC.
Make sure all the windows are closed.
I will close all of them.
I opened the one that we're in in the bedroom.
I will close all of them. Make sure the one in here.
That one is closed. All right. Yeah, wherever you're at, which I'm guessing. Are you in or around the UK or Central Europe? I'm guessing. But yeah, if I suddenly see you fall off or like stop responding or whatever, I'll just assume you went night night. All right, so I had these Kingdom Hearts 2. Yes, it is. I will always, I constantly replay Kingdom Hearts 2. I loved the story. I love the character design. Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora is still I think my favorite design of him. Can I take a guess with the next game? I want to guess you're going to give it a B. Yeah, I'm from the UK. Yeah, I got a couple people that are followers now that again, most of the time I go live around, so it's 6 o'clock my time, which is Central Time in the US, and I've gotten a couple people that are like, yeah, it's anywhere from midnight to 2 a.m. I had a guy on last week that was in Finland, and it was I was at 6:30 or 7 o'clock my time, and he's like, yeah, it's 2:30 in the morning. he was blackout drunk, and I was concerned for him. His chat was fucking incredible. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2, fucking S tier. Absolutely, it's probably my favorite. God. It's definitely one of my favorite games in the series. Okay, so I saw your thing saying that you wanted to take a guess for the next one. With the timing may have been a little weird though, because of the delay. Did you mean to guess B for Kingdom Hearts 2, or for this next one after that? This red one down here, is that what you were guessing was going to be in B? Oh, for KH2. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Two is S tier for me, especially the final mix. Yeah, pretty off with that one. Kingdom Hearts 2, especially the final mix, because they added difficult fights into it with characters that you were only introduced and then killed in Chain of Memory, the previous game, Chain of Memories. So it was cool seeing them in 3D. It was cool being able to fight them. It was cool being able to fight them with a not shitty combat system. It also has it has two super bosses in it, or secret bosses that are. One of them was definitely the hardest at the time, and then one that was introduced in Final Mix is like, I think, is considered one of, if not the like hardest boss fights in Kingdom Hearts, but is still a ton of fun to play. Yeah, I love everything about Kingdom Hearts 2. I love the aesthetic, I love the battle system, I love the story, I love everything about it. Kingdom Hearts 2 is where I feel like the series really kind of got its foothold, discovered what it was, and handled everything pretty well. So, going on to the next one. Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2. This... I only played it once, and it wasn't that great, mostly because it was on, like, I think, like, the original 3DS. Or I'm sorry, just the DS. And it unfortunately never got like an HD remake. They never redid it with like updated graphics or anything. They just did cutscenes. But the story in it is very good. I'm gonna keep it at low B for now, again, only because of the story. But I'm more comfortable with it being in C. It's just, it's one of those, like, again, the story was phenomenal. It did a lot for Kingdom Hearts as a whole. It was very, like, the ending may have been the first time I, like, cried at something that happened in Kingdom Hearts, just because of the emotional impact of it. But it just wasn't that fun. So for now, I'm putting it at high C. I just don't feel comfortable putting it in B. Birth by Sleep is this. It's high A, maybe S. Because Birth by Sleep to me was the one where I said, like, Kingdom Hearts, when I said Kingdom Hearts 2 was my favorite, then I kind of went back and forth of like, it's one, and I kind of decided to say it's one of my favorites instead of my favorite, is because of Birth by Sleep. Because I realized the two are real close for me. Once again, absolutely loved the story in it. I loved the characters introduced in it. It's a prequel. It takes place 10 years before the first Kingdom Hearts game, so you're playing with absolutely brand new characters. You actually play the game four times, 5 by the end. By the time it had a final mix and an additional scenario added. And when I say you play the game 5 times, I don't mean the entirety. You do play the entirety of the game 3 times, 1 with each character, and then that unlocks a secret episode that you play as one of the characters. And then, like I said, the final mix added another additional scenario for that character as well. So you technically have 5 different stories to play within the game. and I loved it. I love the characters, I love the design, I love the story, I love the climax. Like, I love everything about it. It has its pitfalls, but... So, okay. So, something else I guess I have to decide, like, now is this a tier list of how much I liked the game, or what I objectively think, like, how good they are? Because that's the thing. If this is an objective thing, Birth by Sleep I think would stay in A. If it's a personal thing, it's S. I'm putting it in S. I don't replay it super often though, because of how much. So it has a lot to do in it, but you then also have to do it 3 whole times if you really want to, like, get... Okay. Again, for now, I'm keeping it highest A possible without going into S yet. Okay, so moving on to Recoded. Yeah, the game, I played it once just to play it. I actually didn't even finish it. I watched the cutscenes for the remainder of it because I just wasn't having fun. The entirety of it doesn't matter except for, like, the very end of it. Be right back. I'm going to be around for a few hours now at least. Okay, cool. Yeah, do what you need to do. Yeah, Recoded's in D. Like, it wasn't like F terrible, but like I didn't really care for it. And like I said, it kind of just felt like a lot of build up to, like, just the end of it. I played it to play it. No. Okay, so 3D. Dream Drop Distance. I'm gonna put it as our first B, and I'll tell you why. The gameplay is very fun. Sorry, man. Daughter has woke up. I'll hang out, but apologies if I miss anything. Dude, you're good. Do what you need to, man. Like, you just being here is nice enough. Yeah, do whatever you need to do. Yeah, 3D is a B for me. The gameplay is fun. It added some mechanics that were fun. The combat in it is pretty fun. However, my 2 big gripes about 3D are it's basically another game where you're playing two stories happening concurrently, and you switch between 2 characters. However, so the way they do it is pretty interesting, because you play these 2 characters, but it's not like the previous games where you play the whole thing and then you go back and play the other person's. You're actually playing both at the same time, and because of reasons in the game, basically you have a gauge that once it goes completely down, the character you're playing falls asleep, and you switch to the other character, and it just picks up wherever the fuck you were at. And there's different ways of making that time last longer or shorter, things like that. If you're also, like, if you're really not wanting to play the one character and are doing something important with the other, you can also manually switch characters. So it's not like you're completely forced into doing it that way. So you can, like, run out of time as one, get to the other one, and then immediately drop, and then switch to the other character. So there is that, but they add this kind of, like, Pokemon Monster Rancher element to it, where you have 2 cutesy animal sidekicks that you have to, like, basically raise and like give affection to and everything. And the first time I played it, I had a ton of fun with it. It was really neat. But then like if you're replaying it to just kind of like reintroduce yourself to the story, which is another factor I'll get to, and you kind of just want to like play it to play it, it just feels like this whole other thing that's like, oh fuck, I gotta do all that too. And again, this is for me. This is a very personalized list, right? So Dream Drop Distance had a lot of good elements, but the negative parts of it are negative enough to put it at B, and the story is another one of those, because it has a good story, it has a very important story to, you know, the Kingdom Hearts lore, but it added elements into the Kingdom Hearts lore that a lot of people didn't like and made things even more convoluted for the series. Dream Drop Distance is like, so for someone like yourself, brand new to it, but always heard about and are like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. If you've done everything up to the point of getting to Dream Drop Distance, it's a make or break game for the rest of the series. Because if you get to this point and then you don't like it, I can very, very easily see this being the game where people are like, all right, I'm done. This is too. If you're on the fence about Kingdom Hearts still, by the time you get to Dream Drop Distance, I could see people quitting. Like, I could see people being like, no, I don't care. That's too much. I'm not dealing with that. And that's completely understandable. Because one of the things it introduces is time travel. And it's not an easy, even like time travel itself is a very convoluted thing and a difficult thing to handle adding into a series that isn't like just about time travel, like Doctor Who, for example. Like, that's just about space and time travel, so you're kind of like always used to it, and that's like what all of the writing is about. But in Kingdom Hearts, it was something that was just introduced like late into this saga of the series, and it's not an easy concept to grasp, and there's so many things that are like, well, then shouldn't this have worked this way and this worked that way, and yeah, Dream Drop Distance is a B. Like, it could have been an A, but there's a lot that kind of drag it down. Now now we get to this mess. Kingdom Hearts Key, Unchained Key, back cover, Union Cross, Dark Road. When I say those 5 titles, I am essentially referring to one game. So it started off as a Kingdom Hearts game exclusive to Japanese web browsers, but had critical story. And then it became a mobile gacha game and just became a huge mess with a very long story that has now essentially set up like the future of the series. This mess is going in mid-C. And I'll tell you the only reason it isn't going straight to D is because, given all of its flaws, like its long story with many unimportant interruptions, all the different versions of the game making it confusing, making it a mobile thing to begin with, and then a like gacha style game where you it wasn't necessary for the story, but like they tried to get the money out of you. The delayed updates, everything involved with this really brings it down. But the Kingdom Hearts story itself in it, the narrative, is really interesting. Relatively well done for Kingdom Hearts. And so I put it at a C. Because it does have a lot of elements and designs that I do like. And like I said, I kind of like where it's taking the narrative and how it explains. It does the classic Kingdom Hearts thing of explaining many things while raising just as many questions. And that's about as quick of a summation as I can give to my opinions of that. I don't know why that's here. Okay, so also technically before we get to 3, I'll do... Jesus, so... What the hell is that? Okay. Here is why. So this thing that I'm writing here, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 remix. The only reason this is going before Kingdom Hearts 3 is because of one of the things that is included in this happens before Kingdom Hearts 3. And is also one of my favorite things. Plus, it's also a collection that I believe includes Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. So, Kingdom Hearts 2.8, I am putting at a... I loved Birth by Sleep 0.2, or whatever the fuck it's called. Like, Aqua's Kingdom Hearts 3 demo is one of my favorite things that I've played in Kingdom Hearts. Even more so... I can't do it. I was gonna put it above the original Kingdom Hearts, but I can't. It's just newer, and I liked it. Yeah, the 0.2 thing, where you play as Aqua, but it's Kingdom Hearts 3's graphics in the Realm of Darkness, is one of my favorite fucking things. Plus, again, it brings the collection brought an HD Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix to my console, so that really puts it up there. Quick question regarding any of the Kingdom Hearts games. Can you play as Stitch? If so, I may sign my own life away and pass ownership of my PC to my partner because she loves Stitch. You cannot play as Stitch. However, Stitch appears in... two or three games as a most of the times as a summon. In many of the Kingdom Hearts games, you can basically use like all of your like magic meter, your MP, to summon various normally Disney characters like into the battle temporarily. Stitch is one. It was introduced in Kingdom Hearts 2. And then there's a, in Birth by Sleep, one of the worlds that you go to is a Stitch-based world. It isn't Hawaii. It's actually before, and because Birth by Sleep is a prequel, the world that you go to is the, like, giant, red, spaceship that they're on, like at the beginning of the movie. So you meet Stitch, and he's a very important part of the story. He's part of the story in Birth by Sleep, but actually playing them, no. Kingdom Hearts has very few playable characters. 9 times out of 10, you are playing the main character, Sora. The creator slash director of the game has basically said, like, obviously there's tons of other characters and other things going on, but Kingdom Hearts at its core is Sora's story. So most of the time you play as Sora, sometimes you play as his friend Riku, and then, like I said, in Birth by Sleep you play 3 different characters. In 358 you play 2 different characters. Yeah, so you never play as Stitch, but you can use him in battle in a handful of games, and like I said, he has his own world in Birth by Sleep. Okay, that's fine. I just won't tell her about this series. Yeah, I mean, like, if she gets hooked on that sort of stuff, then yeah, it sounds like you guys may have either just had a kid or you at least have a kid. So yeah, if you want them getting any attention, maybe keep them away from this game, from this series. All right, so moving on to another big one. Kingdom Hearts 3. It was some time between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3. Kingdom Hearts 2, I believe, came out in like 2004. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in 2018. If that gives you any indication. I liked Kingdom Hearts 3's story. It was the payoff for many different storylines kind of like finally coming together and getting their closure and things like that. While still, of course, leaving the end of it open enough for the series to continue. Just a slight indication, yeah. But even the first time playing it, as much fun as I was having, I didn't give a shit. I'm gonna have to replay Kingdom Hearts 3 because the first time I played it, I didn't give a single shit about any of the Disney worlds. Not the choice of properties to make worlds out of, just literally in-game, while playing through those levels, I was like, this has nothing to do with the Kingdom Hearts narrative that I'm here for. I don't care. Just get me past this so I can get back to the important story that matters. And so I feel like that dulled the game overall for me. But I liked the climax. The combat is a ton of fun. There are so many different things you can do in that game in terms of the combat, which to some people is a detriment. I think 3 is high B. There were, in my first playthrough, there was a lot that I just felt like I was kind of pushing through just to, like, get to the story. But like I said, it's something that I think I need to replay now that I do know the story. I'm not, like, rushing to get to those plot points to learn. I need to do another playthrough soon and see what it's like, knowing everything that's going to happen, so I'm not, like, mentally trying to, like, push myself to get there and can actually maybe enjoy the bulk of the game. I'll put it that way. Yeah, and there's some collection stuff that's a little, like, I just don't care, just get me to this thing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I'm going to put 3 at a high B. Melody of Memories. Yeah. Melody of Memories I'm putting in D. So, and here's why. So Melody of Memories is a game that came out after Kingdom Hearts 3, and has a continuation of its story. However, once again, it is only the, like, opening cutscene and then the ending. The rest of it is a rhythm game that is okay. And the ending, this game could have been like high C, low B, because it was a game that finally focused on a character that had never really gotten the focus that she needed. There's a particular character that's basically just literally always the damsel in distress and needing to be saved. And even in Kingdom Hearts 3, when they finally gave her this like she like had like training and said, you know, she was done, you know, waiting for her friends to come back from their adventures and is going to join them now. She still gets like knocked out immediately. She still can't do shit. She gets killed like twice. And then like they finally give her her own game in Melody and Memories, and even then, like at the very end, she still like she can't beat the boss on her own and has to like literally be possessed by the main character in order to beat them. And it really sucked. Like how they use that character is bad. So that's why it's so low. It was a fucking rhythm game that I didn't have fun with. I actually, it's the first Kingdom Hearts game that I didn't buy. I never bought Melody and Memories. I only played the demo, and I watched people's gameplay like on YouTube and stuff to like get the story and to like see the game. Zero interest in playing it myself, and then the disappointment in the ending. So that is that's Melody and Memories. Now this, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck this is. Because there's only one thing I could think that it is, but it doesn't make sense. I need to look at a list of Kingdom Hearts games. Whoa. How are let me check up on you. How's it going? How's your evening going? Is family okay? The daughter okay? List of Kingdom Hearts games. Games. Trying to figure out what the fuck that logo is. Oh, I'm sorry. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in 2019. Even still. Kingdom Hearts logos. Let's take a look at that. Because I can't, like, I didn't make this. This was pre-made, so, like, that's just the size of those. Like, I can't blow them up or anything. It's been a rough couple of days. Tonight is no different, but we have to wade through shit to find something good, right? I guess so. Oh, I see. Okay. This isn't Melody and Memories. This is. This. Poop shoot. That's the original Chain of Memories. The one I was using earlier and talking about, this one here, is Chain of Memories, which is basically the final mix of Chain of Memories, because the original Chain of Memories game was actually on the Game Boy Advance, so it was sprite-based. Chain of Memories basically redid the entire game with the PS2 graphics at the time, and with like actual cutscenes and voice acting and things like that. So, but yeah, that's F tier. And so these are the remixes and collections. So 1.5 and 2.5. And the reason I'm even doing these is because they include the final mixes of any of the games that they contain. So because of that, I guess I'm gonna put this here and this here. Yeah. I feel pretty confident with that. I'm currently cursing the daughter under my breath as I'm now on coffee, so it's going to be a long couple of hours. If you don't mind me asking, and if you are not comfortable answering, completely understandable. Is this a baby or a young child, or are they like 10 or 15? I'm assuming that daughter waking up in the middle of the night and I have to go take care of this now usually means like baby or toddler or whatever, and not like a kid or like a teenager. But hey, you never know. Don't. Oh, she's 2, but she's always been a shit sleeper. Gotcha. All right. Well, there's my tier list for the Kingdom Hearts games. Yeah, I'm pretty confident with that. I'm pretty confident with that. You're from the UK. I shouldn't. I'm so sorry if that was like offensive. If it helps at all, I have zero doubts that if I grew up in the UK and had the UK accent, I would probably be doing stupid American voices, like when my brain misfired. Okay, yeah, that's my tier list for the Kingdom Hearts games. So now we move on to Kingdom Hearts characters. Actually, you know what? No, we don't. We're still going to. Oh no, it's all good, man. Just a little tip. Put a little more thickness on the accent and you would have nailed it, at least somewhere in the UK. Yeah, right? God. Huh? That's not the one I wanted. Okay, this is the one I wanted. Alright, so, oh, we're not doing all this. No, delete that. We don't need, like, S and S Plus and all this shit. Should I keep that for now? It's not really anything that I'm, like, dumbfounded as to why it's a thing. Yeah, I'll leave that too. Alright, so... Can I do that? Okay. Also, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit more. I still can, like, barely hear myself think. Come on, you can do it. Okay. So, again, if you are unfamiliar with most of the concepts in Kingdom Hearts, the basic progression of the game is you go to various Disney worlds on your journey. And by worlds, I mean, like, essentially, like, in-game, like, in the universe, they are these little contained microcosms of whatever that Disney property is. So, like, whatever the, as the game puts it, like, they used to be one connected world in what was called the Age of Fairy Tales. And then a bunch of shit happened, and they all got split apart. So now they're their own self-contained thing, and most of them and the people in them have zero knowledge of the fact that there is even an outside world. So that's basically how Kingdom Hearts works. And so this tier maker is for those various worlds. While I love Disney, I tend to like the original worlds in Kingdom Hearts more. And by that, I don't mean the worlds in the original game, like the first game. I mean worlds that aren't Disney properties or anything like that. They're made like for Kingdom Hearts itself. I tend to like them more. They're cooler. They're more fantasy. So I like them a little more. Once again, I'm going to try and do this more in release order. So, like, all the Kingdom Hearts, like the original Kingdom Hearts games, and then, ones introduced in 2, and 3, 5, and so on and so on. So, the first world that we are introduced to in Kingdom Hearts... I actually need to see if something is on here, because technically speaking, I don't know if they consider it a world or not. Because basically, the very first place you play in Kingdom Hearts is a is an area called Dive to the Heart. It's essentially inside of Sora's heart, which in Kingdom Hearts, the heart is essentially a person's, like, what we would equate to, like, their soul. It's where all of their emotions, their memories, their everything, like, is their heart. Take that away, and you have nothing left, technically speaking. But I don't see that on here, which makes sense because it's not like a world you can ever, like, travel to. You only do that stuff, like, when the game and the narrative, like, want you to. So beyond that, the first world is and where you start is this one here, Destiny Islands. It is an original world. It's basically where all of the kids and, like, the main characters grew up. It's where they're from. It's fun. It's a nice tutorial world for the first game, and I think Kingdom Hearts 1 is the only game where it's a playable world. All of the other ones that it is seen in, I believe, are just in like cutscenes and things like that. Technically speaking, there's playable versions of them in other games, but it's not the actual world. It's a like an illusion or something like that, or like a program or something like that. So so once again, I will also say that these lists, the way I'm ranking things, this is just a personal list. This is not like breaking them down in any sort of logical sense or it's nothing objective. It's all subjective. It's just how much I like them. So I like Destiny Island. I think I'm gonna keep it right there. It's right in the middle. It's a nice, fun world. The music is really cool. It's always great when you see it because you know important shit's about to happen. But again, it's basically the tutorial world in the first game, and that's really the only time you play on it. So I think I'm going to leave it there. Very solid C. Next world should be Traverse Town. Traverse Town. Where is Traverse Town? It's the first world you go to after Destiny Islands is destroyed. And Sora's ass is just laid out in an alleyway. Where the fuck is Traverse Town? This thing is not organized whatsoever and is all over the goddamn place. Here it is. Okay, so Traverse Town. I'm also gonna put in C. Unless we have the other version of it, because Traverse Town reappears in 3D, and I like that version of it a lot better because it's way bigger, much more explorable, and you have fun mechanics in 3D that help the exploration. Oh yeah, the 3D ones are going to be these bubbles. So yeah, like Kingdom Hearts 1 Traverse Town. I'm gonna put it at a B. I liked going back there. You go back there a lot. It kind of becomes like almost like a hub world for you. It's where you meet a lot of the important characters for the first time, like basically all of the Final Fantasy characters. Almost all of the Final Fantasy characters that appear, you meet in Traverse Town. It's where like the story really gets kicked off, like a lot of the lore starts getting explained and things like that. Meeting these Final Fantasy characters there were basically the first time that these characters ever had voice acting, so it was super cool to be introduced to that as well. And yeah, like the exploration was pretty neat. It was like broken up into these districts that you had to go back and forth between, and they weren't huge, but it was fun to do that and kind of got you introduced to that aspect of the game of like it wasn't just one enormous world that you had to explore. They were going to be like broken up into these rooms basically, but also it was dense enough to allow for some exploration and a lot of fun. And it was also a fun place to grind whenever you had to do that for the game. So Traverse Town is B. There's a lot of worlds. I better pick it up a little bit. After that is Wonderland. Wonderland's a C for me. It's okay. I just personally, there's a lot of like puzzle solving and stuff like that in it, and I just personally wasn't a huge fan of it. The boss is pretty fun though, but can be very annoying, especially early on in the game when you don't have a lot of abilities. I think it would have been a boss better a little later in the game. But some interesting mechanics and everything like that. Also, so Wonderland, partly because of its aesthetic, partly because of stuff that happened in my personal life, anytime I think of Wonderland, I think of Pop-Tarts. I think of like original basic strawberry Pop-Tarts with that like white frosting and sprinkles. Because when Kingdom Hearts came out, I was so into it. It was the first time I ever lied about being sick in order to stay home from school to play it more. And so I just remember like that's what I had for breakfast that day. That Wonderland was the world I was on. Again, the like strawberry-ness, I guess, of the Pop-Tarts really kind of synced up with like the pinks and reds that are found throughout the world. So yeah, anytime I think of it, I think of Pop-Tarts. But it's an okay world for me. Next is Kingdom Hearts 1 Olympus Coliseum. Also mid-tier for me. Because in the original Kingdom Hearts, this world... Actually, I'm going to put it in D. The only thing this world was for, it didn't have any exploration. The only thing that this world was used for even during its like story, was like it was basically only 3 rooms. The initial one you were in, which was basically this big open area that you couldn't do anything in, a very small little room, and then the like the actual Coliseum, which is basically like a large square arena with these like stands, you know, for the audience to sit in. And the only thing you did in the world were tournaments. The tournaments themselves are fun, but they're also completely unnecessary. I'm pretty sure you don't have to beat the world in order to like advance the story or even like beat the game. You don't even have to do you may have to do like I think 1 or 2 tournaments, but it's kind of altogether unnecessary and mostly just extra content. And it's also where you fight 2 of the optional bosses in the original game and in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, which were fun. But again, like Kingdom Hearts 1's like mechanics just kind of make it meh. So so Kingdom Hearts 1 Olympus Coliseum is D for me. Which sucks because again, like like Hercules is one of my favorite Disney movies. And until Kingdom Hearts 3, it didn't ever get like a proper world to do it. It like until then, it made multiple appearances, but every single time was just used for like tournaments or whatever. Expanded a slight bit in Birth by Sleep, but not really by much. Next for Kingdom Hearts 1, we should have where are you? Next is Deep Jungle, which was a Tarzan world. There it is. Again, it was actually not F. I'll put it at E. So the thing about Deep Jungle only appeared in Kingdom Hearts 1. And that was mostly due to a rights issue, because like obviously Disney had the rights to the Tarzan property at the time. You know, like the world in Kingdom Hearts is based off the cartoon movie that they made. You know, it's those characters, but I think like soon after that they lost the rights to it, so it couldn't be in any further Kingdom Hearts properties because Disney didn't own it anymore. The story in the world is fun, but the exploration in this world is so goddamn annoying. Like there's a section where you jump on vines, and again, like the mechanics of it are super terrible, even in like the Final Mix versions, which were made to make it easier. And there's just a lot of areas that even when you have the like flying and like double jumping abilities like towards the end game, like if you go back to like do exploration in this world, it's fucking tedious, it's annoying and confusing, and just getting around this world is terrible. And again, the story is okay, so it's pretty low. It's E for me. All right, after that is jumping to Kingdom Hearts 1 Agrabah, which I don't think I have to explain to you, hopefully, is Aladdin. It's also pretty low for me. I've never liked Agrabah in any of the games. I love the movie. But again, that's also like, you know, mostly because of Robin Williams as the genie. Like again, not a bad movie, not a bad property. It's just, it's okay. But this world, I didn't enjoy it. Its story is okay, and it feels so long. But I will say I like Deep Jungle more, so I think that means this has to go here. Yeah, it's just, it's very okay. It's actually a pretty big annoying disappointment. So yeah, E. Alright, after that we have Kingdom Hearts 1 Atlantis. Okay, I see it there for Kingdom Hearts 2. Where is it for Kingdom Hearts 1? Or no, maybe this is the Kingdom Hearts 2. Did they just not get the right one? Okay, well, I'm going to assume then that I'm either blind or this is it, and it's just the only Kingdom Hearts 1 world with a white background. Because I see it. I saw it somewhere else again, but it also had a white background. I was just holding it. Where the fuck am I? You know what? Let me look at all the ones with the black. No. No, no. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No, no, no. Okay, I guess so. I think they may just put it in there twice. Okay, whatever. Atlantis is fucking F tier. I don't give a shit about the story. The swimming mechanics were goddamn terrible. I hated every moment I had to be in that world. I hated the whole thing. Moving on. Nightmare Before Christmas world. So I'll put it low B. It was really fun. I mean, you know, again, it's Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, it, and, you know, I was a teenager. Of course I loved it. It was fun. I liked the exploration in it enough. I liked the story in it, and I really liked Oogie Boogie as a boss, especially once he turned into a giant house. I remember it fondly, although every time I get to that point in the game, I fucking hate it. But I always remember having fun. So that's going to be there. Kingdom Hearts 1 Neverland. I'm putting, like, here. It introduced flying, but, like, it's only okay. Again, like, it's one of those, like, the world is called Neverland, but you never actually go to Neverland, technically. Basically the entire world is Captain Hook's ship is basically like what you're exploring around. I like the story in it more though, so more than, yeah, I'm gonna put it higher than Wonderland. Do we really want to keep that? Yeah. Yeah, KH1 Neverland was okay. Only bumped up a little more because of some of the, like, it starts to get pretty late game. So yeah. Alright, so before we continue on to what, technically speaking, is the next world after that, there's two that they included that, or three, actually, that they included that I need to kind of talk about. Monstro, from Pinocchio, is a world. So in the Kingdom Hearts series, the way that your character, like Sora, who's accompanied by Donald and Goofy, I think I said that strangely, Donald and Goofy, the way you get from world to world is in this spaceship called the Gummy Ship. And at one point, when you're going between Agrabah and Neverland, Monstro is apparently a spacefaring whale, and he swallows you up. So, like, you play, like, inside his body, basically. It's... I'm putting it at... I'm putting it here because... Okay, so here's the thing. I like the boss in the game. It's super interesting. The story gets a little more... It has some, like, interesting plot points in it. And the theme of it is really cool, right? Because you're just, like, in, like, organs and shit like that. But the exploration is confusing and frustrating. But I still go back to it more than Wonderland, so I think I'm going to keep Monstro there. It's okay. So, two other worlds that are in here for Kingdom Hearts 1. Yeah, because I do see it listed for something else too. Right. So I'm gonna do this. Disney Castle is not. You don't play it during the game at all. You never go to that world. It is only in cutscenes and only at like the very beginning of the game, and then I think at like the very end. Maybe. So it's kind of hard to, really put it anywhere because like Kingdom Hearts 1 Disney Castle technically doesn't exist. Like I said, it is not a playable world, so it's hard to, really give it anything. I'll give it an E simply because of the aesthetic and, it introduces it to the Kingdom Hearts world or, like the lore and everything. So I'll put it there just because it is interesting and, the emotion that I got when it was like the first time you see it, you see like the whole castle and it like looks really cool. And it finally puts you in that realization of, oh, right, this is a Disney game too. And then you see, like Donald and Goofy for the first time and like Queen Minnie and like all this stuff. So I'm putting it in an E. Anything's better than Atlantis. So the other one I have to do, Winnie the Pooh. Okay. I never got into Winnie the Pooh. Even as like a toddler, like the age where you're kind of supposed to be into it. I didn't really... I just never got into it. It's not that my parents tried and then I just didn't like it. I have zero memories of Winnie the Pooh. Of any of it. Beyond, like, I knew the characters vaguely. I actually didn't know there were so many characters until I played the first Kingdom Hearts game. Which, again, I think I was like 12 at the time. And so when you go to it, how it works in Kingdom Hearts, unlike all these other ones, which are on, like, again, you fly to in this ship, like, on, like, a world map. Winnie the Pooh is actually a storybook that you find lost pages of in treasure chests, like, throughout the game. And, like, each missing page that you restore is, like, a new bit of the story to play, like, in the book. Like, Sora gets, like, pulled, like, into the book to play it. So the story itself is okay. I don't have any connection to it. I don't know or really care for the characters. Like, I was already, even as a kid, when I played Kingdom Hearts for the first time, I was still, like, too old for it. So, like, it was tedious, it was extra stuff to do, and, like, the stuff you did, like, in those worlds was more frustrating than it was fun. Again, a completely skippable thing. Don't even have to do it to finish the game, which I'm happy about. So, those two out of the way, we get to the final two worlds of the first Kingdom Hearts game, which are both some of my favorite. One of which I'm considering getting as like one of my Kingdom Hearts tattoos if I ever do. And so we'll talk about that first one. Hollow Bastion. Kingdom Hearts 1 Hollow Bastion is S tier shit. The design is incredible. It is set up as this strange, though, to look back and realize they were all mental health characters, which is unique. I've seen that as well. Yeah, and it is so clear when you look at it. And as someone with depression, I actually think it's really cool about Eeyore that, like, they actually portray it pretty well. Like, most of his characteristics are, like, basically vocalizations of those, like, negative thoughts I have because of the mental illness. But it's also cool that at the same time that you see that he is surrounded by friends that understand him, accept him for what he is, and work around it and with it as best as they can. You know, they're just like, oh yeah, you know, that's Eeyore. He's, you know, unfortunately kind of sad all the time, but we do what we can to cheer him up, and if he doesn't want to play, that's fine too. He can just be over there doing his thing. And I think that's really cool. So Hollow Bastion is an incredibly designed world, like both in its aesthetics and its layout. It is massive compared to the other worlds, like, so far that you play in the game. And it's, you know, this is like end game stuff. Like, this is where, you know, all of the, like, important stuff in the game really happens before the final world of the game. It's, you know, the headquarters of, like, the villain of the, like, Disney villains of the game. You know, they all each have their own world, except for, with the exception being Maleficent, because she is one of the major antagonists of the game. But there isn't a Sleeping Beauty world in Kingdom Hearts 1. So she kind of resides in this castle that they've overtaken. And yeah, the world is fucking awesome. I love the style. I love the design. I love the layout of the world. Like, it is the only, like, small gripe about it is there are these elevators these lifts that you have to kind of navigate to, like, get, like, as you go, like, further up into the castle to, like, essentially get where you need to go. And it's a bit of a puzzle to figure them out, which I'm okay with. It's more of just the cutscenes showing you, like, traversing them and showing them, like, moving and going along their paths. Even in the new versions, you can't skip them, so it's a little tedious to be like, okay, let me try going this way. And then you get there and it's like, ah, shit, this wasn't the right way. Get back on the lift. You know, so, like, that part of it still kind of sucks, but, like, one small bit compared to, like, the rest of this world, which is incredible. And it's also where the difficulty really ramps up. So, yeah, Hollow Bastion has always been one of my favorite worlds. Fucking S tier. And so now we go to the final level, the final world you play in the original Kingdom Hearts game. And it's literally called The End of the World. I love this place. I am very into astronomy and things like that. And so this world's design, like, I don't know how well you can see these, like, icons and everything, but it basically looks like a black hole, which is one of my favorite things to study in, like, astronomy and things like that. And even then, the lore of the world itself is almost that too. So what kicks off the narrative of Kingdom Hearts is basically that the worlds are starting to fall into darkness. In the Kingdom Hearts lore, like, if you're in a world and can see the night sky, every star is a world. And basically, King Mickey notices that stars are starting to go out. So basically, worlds are blinking out of existence. They're being consumed by darkness and falling into it. The end of the world is essentially the graveyard for these worlds that have fallen into darkness. Both figuratively and literally. Because, like, the platforms that you walk on in the world, and even, like, certain sections of the world, you can see are, like, the broken pieces of these worlds that have fallen into darkness. So I absolutely love it. It is such a phenomenal final level for this great video game. And just aesthetically, like, I like purples and blues when contrasted with, like, blacks and, like, deep grays and things like that. And that's basically this entire world. It is super cool. It's super trippy. The music that plays in it is gorgeous. This haunting, slow dirge of a song called Destati. And the battle music itself is so... I love everything about this world. It's so great. Sorry, my eyes are burning. S-Row second icon. Yes, that is the one I'm talking about. That is the icon for the end of the world. Actually, I can... Let me do this real quick. What am I doing? Not what I wanted to do. Oh, yes, it is. It just had to catch up. Let me get a bigger picture for you so you're not... yeah, so that's the world icon. And so every time you go to a world for the first time and it, like, shows a cutscene and everything, it'll show, like, the logo of the world and then, like, the name of the world in, like, its own neat, unique font. This is it for the end of the world. Like, all of the other stuff is, you know, it's Disney, you know, they're... Bleh! And then you get here, and it's just this slow, quiet, orchestral music with this haunting, angelic Latin chanting behind it, and then end of the world just comes across the screen, and it's so... Oh, I literally got chills just describing it. I love this world so much. And hasn't ever appeared again, which is unfortunate. It makes sense lore-wise, but it's still unfortunate that we never get to go back to this place. Every other world is like, yeah, welcome to the Deep Jump, welcome to Wonderland, welcome to the Olympus Coliseum. Welcome to the end of the fucking world. The end of the world equals shit you fucked up in coming here. For real. Just to even more get the... I know I'm potentially, like, getting into copyright territory here, but let me try and pull up this song just so you can really understand what I'm talking about. This is the music that plays while you're in the end of the world. No, it isn't. That's some boss music. Hold on. Maybe I'm not... Kingdom Hearts End of the World music. Okay, it just is called End of the World. Like, do you get it? This plays the entire time you're going through this shit. Like, that's the other thing like about Kingdom Hearts that I love so much. The music, like, even for, like, the peppy stuff you hear in Disney worlds, it's nice, it's nostalgic or whatever, but the original scores, oh, I'm gonna be honest, that is quite soothing, right? Like, it is, like, if you just, like, close your eyes, like, you kind of, like, no context, like, it's just nice. but coupled with the like dismal idea of like where the fuck you are and what's happening, is like it really becomes more heavy. Yeah, so that's the background music for that world while you're in it, and hence my justification for where it's at. It's very different from themes and things like Final Fantasy. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts music does, you know, vary from game to game, of course, you know, depending on like the game style, and then obviously the entire series has had the same composer for the whole of the series, a Japanese composer named Yoko Shimomura, and she does such a goddamn good job with it. So yeah, definitely props to her for all the original scores in Kingdom Hearts. So okay, that does it for Kingdom Hearts 1. Those are all the worlds that you visit. The reason I won't be doing the next game, which is Chain of Memories, is because technically speaking, you're only in one world the entire time, and so brief explanation, I guess, as to why like Chain of Memories doesn't have any like worlds on here. All of the ones you visit are just the worlds from Kingdom Hearts 1, Sans Deep Jungle. They have different story, like a different story in that game, but they're just all the same worlds. So it doesn't fucking matter. Also, technically speaking, you don't ever visit those worlds while you're in the game. You visit an illusion of those worlds. If you were here / remember when I was doing the tier list for the games and I was talking about it, I said, you know, like the battle system for it where this was a stupid like card system. As with everything in Kingdom Hearts, that was also part of the lore. Essentially, in the location that you play in during that game, regular powers and abilities didn't work. It was all these cards. And so the same thing goes for the worlds. Again, they were just illusions of those worlds in the castle that you're exploring during the game. So technically speaking, Chain of Memories only has one world, one location. But it also comes up as an important plot piece in other games. And I'm actually going to put it at a low B because while I hated the exploration in Chain of Memories, the world itself is designed really well. I like the aesthetic. And it's a big, funky-looking castle that is called Castle Oblivion. Right? So, low B, because the only time it's playable is in Chain of Memories, and it isn't fun to explore that way. Like, the mechanics of exploring it aren't fun. The world itself is pretty fun, and the name is super cool. Once again, because it's so tiny, let me try and get a better picture. Because it's this really weird looking thing. So first of all, that's like the logo for it, which again is super cool, I think. Well, that didn't help, did it? And yeah, so there's the castle. Okay, that didn't help. Yeah, I don't know how well that's showing up, but like that's the like drawing of it. I'm trying to get the in-game render for it. Well, there's the model. So, yeah, it's this weird looking thing. has a little Tim Burton style to it. Yes, it does. Especially because, like, kind of in the middle there, you can't really tell, but it has these, like, gargoyle kind of things on it. Yeah, it's very Tim Burton-esque in the like kind of like jaunty, like weird angles and things like that. Yeah. So that's why I put Castle Oblivion. I like the name, I like the concept, I like the design, but I don't like any playable part of it. So low B. Jumping from that to, I think just Kingdom Hearts 2. Because I don't necessarily see the 358 worlds on here. Once again, and the other reason why 358 was so like mid-tier on my other list, all of the worlds are just rehashes again. There's no, as far as I can remember, there's no new worlds established in 358. You're just revisiting the old ones. Again, different stories and things like that, but it's like you still go to Agrabah. You still go to Neverland. It's again different, but like it's all still there. So I don't really think I'm gonna get into it. So Kingdom Hearts 2, which it looks like is, maybe they did put the 358 worlds in here. I don't know. Well, whatever. We'll find out. So Kingdom Hearts 2 has a kind of tutorial at the beginning, except, so Kingdom Hearts 2 confused a lot of people because, like, when you start it, you're not playing as Sora. You're playing as this, for us at the time, this random character named Roxas. Roxas. And in this brand new world that we've never seen before, called, and if I can, okay, so it has the white backgrounds. Sorry, I'm just trying to, I see two icons for it, but I don't think, whatever. Called Twilight Town. Really beautiful, very large world. All the sections are really interesting. Super good, like, tutorial world. And it just, the music is nice and calm, and it's cozy. Again, it's basically always twilight, so it's this nice lighting. It's very comforting. It's an A-tier world. Like, I like Twilight Town. I wish it was bigger in Kingdom Hearts 3, because it was in Kingdom Hearts 3, which, again, it looked even more gorgeous with, like, Unreal Engine lighting, but you couldn't explore it at all. There was one section, technically two, from it that you could, like, walk around and explore, but they didn't recreate the entire thing that you could play, like, in Kingdom Hearts 2 in Kingdom Hearts 3, which was disappointing. But the world itself is really nice. It's... again, an original world, non-Disney, not Final Fantasy, not nothing. Which is probably why it was pretty nice. So after that, technically, next world for it, all this talk of Twilight now has me wanting to watch Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, I can see that. Twilight okay, because, like, Christmas Town, Halloween Town, Twilight Town. Okay, fair enough. So the next one is called The Mysterious Tower. And this is another one that I'm gonna put, like, this is kind of up there with Destiny Islands. You do explore it, like, it is a level, but it's not a very long one. And it's, like, later on in the game, it's basically only used for grinding, like, a very specific thing. But once it was introduced in Kingdom Hearts 2, we've seen it in, like, basically every game, because one of the, like, mentor characters is based there, so you see it a lot in cutscenes, but it's very rarely playable after Kingdom Hearts 2, I think. Kingdom Hearts 2 definitely had the most exploration in terms of it being playable. But it's okay. You know, like, at this point, it's just kind of become, like, a staple for the series. And so that's why it's C. It's comfort. So that's the Mysterious Tower. See, after that is... oh, do I save that for later? Okay. You do go to another world before proceeding to some others. But I'm going to save it for later because I want to. No, I'll go ahead and do it. So, Hollow Bastion reappears in Kingdom Hearts 2, but it looks a little different. Because basically the world is starting to be restored. And so it is you don't explore much of the so in Kingdom Hearts 1, basically Hollow Bastion just was the castle and like some of like the underground and like the waterworks, the watery areas around it. Hollow Bastion in Kingdom Hearts 2 becomes like there's some exploration in the castle, but now there's like an entire town surrounding it that you get to explore some of, and then also a lot of the land like surrounding it. It's actually where like in like midway through the game there's this huge fight, one of which you have to defeat 1,000 enemies solo, and it's a super fun part of the game, and it takes place like again like in this like valley, in this world with like purple and blue like grass and rocks. It's really interesting. But also in Kingdom Hearts 2, if you do specific things, you learn from Aerith, the character from Final Fantasy VII, Hollow Bastion isn't the world's original name. So basically all of the Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts, with the exception of Cloud, and therefore technically Sephiroth, who also does appear in the series, they're all originally from this world. And then story stuff happens and they get scattered, you know. And so, you know, Sora, the main character, I don't know if he asks or someone just says it, but they're like, yeah, like it, you know, this world wasn't always called Hollow Bastion. And you eventually learn of its original name, which I absolutely love. Radiant Garden. Oh, love it. So Hollow Bastion / Radiant Garden is a very fun hub little world for Kingdom Hearts 2, and so it's A tier for me. Not as cool as its like dark, you know, introduction, but Kingdom Hearts 2 Hollow Bastion / Radiant Garden is neat. Alright, so first Disney specific world for Kingdom Hearts 2 is the what's called the Land of Dragons. And it's a Mulan. A world for Mulan. It's okay. I usually never liked going back, mostly because they introduced this mechanic that isn't in any other world, and it was kind of more annoying than anything. Where you had a morale meter that you had to keep up, and if it drained, you just lost. Like, regardless of whether you didn't have to like die, like your HP reduced to 0 or anything. Just if the morale gauge hit 0, it was game over, and you had to like restart from wherever the last checkpoint was. So it was pretty annoying. It was basically just an exact rehash of like the movie story. So like it was okay. I never really think about it. So like D. Let's see, what next? Next would be I just need to find it. Where is it? Next is Beast's Castle. Also gonna be a, like... Beauty and the Beast is my shit. It's my favorite Disney movie. It's also my wife's favorite Disney movie. It's what our wedding was mostly themed off of. So it was really important to me, but the Kingdom Hearts world is okay. As the name implies, it's basically all through, Beast Castle. But it's not super interesting. It's just kind of like a castle. And definitely not as good as, like, the castles made, like, for the game itself or anything, so... yeah, it is okay. Let's see what else. So after that, so Olympus Coliseum for Kingdom Hearts 2 finally gave it some exploration, but it's not in the, like, Coliseum itself. It's not, like, in, like, Greece or anything. Most of the exploration and the story for Olympus Coliseum in Kingdom Hearts 2 takes place in the underworld, which again it was interesting, but again the exploration was just very meh, and, like, there were some mechanics in it that made playing in that world annoying. It was okay. It introduced Auron from Final Fantasy X as a character and a companion. But yeah, there was just a lot about it that I was just like, okay. Nothing really made me, like, want to go back or anything. I did the story and I was done. Let's see, other Kingdom Hearts 2 worlds. This is Pride Rock. It's a Lion King world. When you go there, Sora turns into an adorable little lion, and Donald doesn't become a duck. He's like a goose or a swan or something, and then Goofy turns into a turtle. Some people love it. I don't like the mechanics of it. I don't like the controls of it. Once again, the story's just a rehash of the Disney movie, not done super great. And I didn't like the world at all. So many characters, so many worlds, so much confusion. Just about to hit 2 a.m. for me. Gotta go to attempt to get the child to sleep. Usually prove methods. Failing that, I'm going to run full speed at her with my arm stretch. Get her to sleep with a forearm smash. It was great hanging out and a pleasure chatting. I'll stop by next stream so long as I have some free time. Till next time, take care and I hope your stream goes well. Thank you very much, man. Like I said, like, if you don't mind, really quick before you leave, if you're still here, if you don't mind attempting to, like, unfollow me and then follow me again, because it hasn't popped up in my feed and I didn't get a notification of it on my stream. Clearly you are following because you're in my chat. I have it as followers only. But if you don't mind trying it one more time just to see if things work, if not, it's fine. Just fucking leave it. I don't really care. Yeah, thank you so much. I just tried again. Okay, well, it didn't. Again, you clearly are, so, like, it's whatever. Like, you're good. Just for some reason it isn't working with my stream. I may have to reset a couple things, which sucks because you don't get the reverb fart. All right, well, thank you so much for joining in on this stream for a game you knew nothing about. Oh, yes, yeah, I'm using Streamlabs, so that also isn't too big of a surprise. But yeah, thanks so much for coming on, especially so late/early into your day. Next stream will be on Wednesday at 4 o'clock my time, so I think more around, like, 11 midnight your time, maybe. But yeah, that'll be Wednesday. No idea what I'm doing. I never do. Thank you so much for joining me. It really means a lot, and thank you for the follow. Hope you have a good rest of your evening / day, and I hope your child can get to sleep a little easier. Yeah, have a good one. Thanks a lot for joining. I'm off work for the week, so I can hang out for a bit. Super cool. Yeah, thanks for joining. Hope you can get your daughter to sleep. Hope she has a restful rest of the evening, as do you. Good night, buddy. Alright, so let's see. After that is the good night. So after that is the Pirates of the Caribbean world. And boy. It was pretty cool in Kingdom Hearts 2. But again, the mechanics of like the undead pirates and everything was very just kind of annoying. And obviously the style was thrown off so much by having these cartoon characters in this as realistic as you can get for PS2 era graphics. And just putting it in there is just, it's another world. Like, it's okay. The Reaper fight was pretty interesting. I'll give it that. The one on the boat, the one where you had to do the coins, was just annoying. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts 2. Let's see, there was also... it had Agrabah. And I didn't like it there either. It was better than Kingdom Hearts 1, but... eh. Trying to think, I think it's a white background one. I mean, it was okay. I still didn't like it that much. KH2 Halloween Town / Christmas Town. Again, okay, but actually liked it less than in Kingdom Hearts 1. Story was interesting though, but not really enough to give it like a C. High D, I guess. What else? This may be a two-parter, guys. It's getting late for me, and we've already done all this. And there's a lot more worlds to go through. I think I'm going to save this for Wednesday. I think we're going to come back to this on Wednesday. Yeah, because we're only like halfway through these, and I still have like the other Kingdom Hearts things to do. If I had a couple more people in here, I would probably keep going, but I think Gumber was like the only guy in here paying attention to this, so yeah. Well, guys, thanks to everyone for showing up. Everybody who did. Again, Gumber Pile, thank you for the new follow, even though no part of my Streamlabs told me that you did. Thanks for sticking around and engaging with me, even though this was something you had zero knowledge and I'm guessing interest in. Glad I could help you in your time of need. So guys, that's going to be it for today. Stream on Wednesday at 4 o'clock as normal. I may be streaming tomorrow. I'm not sure. The So the reason that I don't have a scheduled stream day on Tuesdays is because, as I've said before, I have a D&D game that evening. However, because of circumstances surrounding that game, it is now a bi-weekly game. So I don't, technically speaking, have anything like super scheduled for those other Tuesdays. But I may be doing something tomorrow night. I don't know. Once I find out more, if I can think of something for stream tomorrow, and if I want to stream tomorrow, then I will. If not, then next stream will be Wednesday as normal, where we will pick up with the Kingdom Hearts stuff. Until then, guys, thanks so much for being here. Follow and share if you like this sort of content and want to see more. Head on over to the YouTube channel and subscribe and like the videos there. The VOD for this stream will be up on the stream archive on that channel tomorrow at 10 a.m. So look forward to that if you missed out on the stream itself. The good way to not miss out on that is to follow and turn on notifications here on Twitch. So I think that's all that banter out of the way. So like I said, guys, possible stream tomorrow. I will let you guys know on the Facebook page, which is another resource for you to find out everything about the stream and keep updated, as well as Twitter, at Sirius on Twitch. And then also the Facebook is facebook.com/Sirius Brightstar Twitch. All of my social medias and everything like that, there are links fucking everywhere, so it shouldn't be hard to find if you want to find it and take a look at it. So, but that is all for tonight. I will see you guys Wednesday afternoon. My time. Goodbye.